I remember when this tweet blew up in 2024. I responded like most people. The data seems clear. Administrative staff have become a parasitic class of useless email jobs, performing fake work for real pay, Jewish daycare, etc. But if you scratch the surface, you see that our strained public schools, healthcare, and bureaucratic institutions are not suffering because there are hordes of people sloppily behind the scenes sitting on computers doing nothing. There is real work being done by these administrative staff, but the work is not work worth the doing. It is not work that actually produces anything of value. This lurching army of administrators has been assembled to support the ever increasing compliance burdens of government, schools, hospitals, and businesses. Compliance has become the fire in the engine of our managerial state. The Faustian West attempted to create a system complex enough to solve every problem and handed away our very souls in the bargain. Compliance has become our raison d'etre. We live to comply. We are not burdened with survival or moral questions, but with regulations. The public school is successful insofar as it complies with national standards. If not a single student in the entire school is educated, but the school complies with all regulations, then the school continues to exist. The institution no longer exists to educate, but only to satisfy the compliance regulations, the regulatory burden. I recently saw a police dashcam video of a truck driving erratically around the cops. And their first thought was, look to see if his seatbelt is off. So when this truck passes the cop car and the police see that the driver is not wearing his seatbelt, they immediately pull him over. So his erratic driving was the real problem, but they justified their action because the driver failed to comply with the seatbelt law. This is the essence of our society: compliance above everything else. You don't wear your seatbelt because it's a good idea and it keeps you safe. You put it on because you have to. You do it to comply with the system. The teacher does not teach to educate the student, but she teaches so that the student will be able to pass a standardized test, which is her compliance burden. The physician does not carefully document in the medical record because it is safe and effective healthcare. He does so to comply with federal regulations. All of our most important public actions serve the God of compliance. Our purpose for everything is to comply. We are raised from birth inside institutions that live or die based on compliance scores. Why have we done this? Because in our pride, we believed we could soothe every pain and defeat every evil through the management of systems. We believed that every social, moral, and political question could be answered and operationalized. But really, now we've moved beyond that. The desire to solve every problem with facts and logic was the religion of the moderns. For generations now, we've lived inside of their systems, and we've lost the spirit that animated those men. We are no longer men at all. Our modern world is built more for women than for men. Women now make up the majority of almost every major public American industry, and especially the highly regulated ones. And there's nothing women crave more deeply than safety. Safety is why we now cling to compliance as our chief virtue. Our courage as a people has shriveled and failed. We no longer see compliance as an ideal. Instead, we see compliance as a human need, without which life itself would become impossible. We are not pouring our wealth into administrative compliance programs because we want to. We are doing it because we feel we have to. Once you have bowed the knee to the demon of compliance, it demands more and more fealty. Every year, new aspects of life become regulated. What was once assumed becomes scrutinized and audited. All of life must be data-driven. And there's only one answer to this: defy the God of the system. Obey the true God. That's the answer. God is the only one you bow the knee to. Jesus suffered outside the city gate. Therefore, let us go forth to him outside the camp, bearing his reproach. For here we have no continuing city, but we seek the one to come. Christian nationalism is a rejection of the very heart of modernity. The Christian nationalist blasphemes the God of man and does not seek to live in compliance with man's regulations. Ultimately, Christian nationalism is the establishment of a society that complies with the living God, the Creator, and not the creature. Christians do not play with the Faustian gambits of modern science. We pour out our lives as an offering to the God who is greater than any empire. Of the increase of his government and of peace there will be no end. From this time forth and forevermore, the zeal of the Lord of hosts will do this. Amen.